Well, yeah, and also like there was no crumple zones back then. It was just the engine went into your chest. It's not like a fucking, modern day car where you can just hit shit and bounce. I mean, people still die, but I'm just saying like those. Yeah, like you take.
I'd rather die, I think.
Yeah, you're in a
like a fucking champion.
Well, it depends. It depends.
Yeah, maybe like if it's a nice day, I would. If it's boiling out, I think I would.
It depends on what my injuries are going to be. All right, here we go.
Let's get a lady.
This is the first person wearing a shirt, I believe.
That's our audience.
All right.
Hey, Bill. Hey, Theo. This is Marissa from Raleigh, North Carolina. And so, Bill, I heard you say on, I believe it was Joe Rogan's podcast, that you really like the film Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and you've seen it several times. And I know Theo said that he walked out halfway through it. So I was just wondering maybe if you could talk about why you loved it so much, and Theo, why you walked out halfway through it. Anyway, gang.
Well, this is where Bill and I don't talk anymore after this.
No. If you didn't like it, you didn't like it. I absolutely fucking loved it.
I heard on your podcast you say that you loved it.
Oh my god, dude, it's the best work. Brad Pitt's great. First time you watch it, I was just like, I want to be like Brad Pitt's the guy I want to be.
Yeah.
And then the second time I watched it, I was like, oh my god, I'm just like Leo's character. I have an emotional fucking mess. Well, I don't know what part you walked out in, but
I walked out after they went to that house for the first time, after they met the old guy, and they were in the yard, and then his car had a flat tire. And at that point, I was like, I got to get out of here. I don't know what these guys are doing. I felt like it was just kind of a waste of, I don't know. I couldn't get into it, and I didn't know what was going on. And it made me feel uncomfortable. And I was like, I got to get out of here. Because I started to feel like everybody knows what's going on, and I don't know what's going on, I guess.
Yeah, that's for you and the therapist, buddy.
Yeah.
If that happens to you at the fucking movies. If you think the whole movie theater gives a shit about whether...
No, I don't think
were you making like audible noises that you didn't... Huh? What? Oh?
Oh, my God.
That's the only way they would know.
Fuck, man. I didn't know I was so fucked up, man.
Yeah, you do.
Today.
Yeah, you do.
No, I really didn't.
You do.
I didn't have the insider track, man.
You do.
I really didn't, though. I really didn't, man.
Yeah. I'm not going to sit here and try to talk you into that masterpiece. It's one of my. It might be my favorite thing.
That's what you said. That's unbelievable to me. You remember that show?
Oh.
Remember that movie, Dream Team? Probably one of the best movies ever. Remember Michael Keaton?
Bags of M&Ms that you could they're big enough to feed a horse with, those things.
Yeah.
And they say family size.
Yeah.
People are just getting those on a flight. Just the misery of being on a just jammed.
It's like
in the
100 bags.
Oh, of glory.
What kind of M&Ms do you like? Classic or peanut butter? Or
I like the peanut ones, but ever since they came out with the almond ones.
You're an almond guy, I noticed.
Yeah, but I like the I like when I go to the movies, I always I get the small popcorn, and then I get the yellow M&Ms. That's the ones I get.
You pour them in. People do that.
Pour them in what?
People pour the M&Ms in the popcorn.
I don't get that.
That's the sugar salt. That's the speedball.
But it's
like Coke and heroin for a fatty. It literally is. That's what like I didn't know anything about eating something salty, then you want something sugary. I never knew that until I had a fat roommate, and he told me about it.
He knew about it.
He's like, dude, you ever eat? Yeah. That's what. And then ever since he fucking taught me that, he taught me how to fucking.
Was he saying it to you like how to get high? Because he's like, hey man, you know how you really want to enjoy sugar.
Yeah, no, that's the fucking thing. I'm telling you, I used to do a bit about that in my act. How all of that shit, like when I was a kid, a candy bar was a candy bar, and ice cream was ice cream.
Right.
Okay. Fat people who just went over the rails were the ones who were like, what if I take this and stick it in that? And then the ice cream companies ripped them off.
Right.
But they never sued them because they were so ashamed to waddle up and be like, hey, I came up with that. Right. Like the shit that some of my fat friends have done with food. I mean, it's like it's not even like mainstream porn. It's like the Fed should come in and grab your hard drive.
Oh man,
that was a shock
you should
to
have
me.
to call your neighbors that you moved in. You have to tell your neighbors that you moved into that neighborhood, so when they go to their barbecue, they know what the fuck they're in for.
Do you sometimes wish that you had another life to do something that was a little bit more violent like that? Like
you think that's violent?
That's a little. I mean, it's.
I think the results. Well, if this is the thing,
not violent or whatever that is. What is it called when you're like?
Oh, more adrenaline rush.
Yeah.
No, I think I got this life right as far as like I feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, but like I will say though, as far as racing goes, I've gotten into it where I've watched like old Formula One and old MotoGP, and I got to tell you, the second you press play, it's immediately scary. Like these guys could die, and people died a lot, like ridiculously a lot back in the 50s and 60s, and it was fucking insane. I read this book called, if your listeners are into racing, I read this book called The Limit, and which is basically where these guys try to push the car, basically the bike or whatever you're racing, the absolute limit of the performance before you fucking crash. Like that's where you have to be racing, or somebody else is gonna take it to the limit, and you have like a fucking test pilot. You got to figure out where that is. So this book is about the first American who won the Formula One. Yeah, it was a fucking amazing book. So. And he was the first American not only to win the championship in Formula One, but also to drive for Ferrari. And we were just considered inferior.
Wow.
Well, because we got all this space out here.
So Formula One takes place in Europe.
Well, I mean, I think it believed it started over there. I'm not quite sure over there, but it started over there.
Brazil has it now.
And then, well, they have a race there.
Okay.
But as far as the cars, it's mainly German, Italian, British got a car in there. I don't know. Just throughout the years, whatever. So this guy gets a job, the American gets a job driving for Ferrari. So he gets his race car.
In the film.
In the book.
In the book, yeah.
So when he gets the car, he notices in the floorboards, I guess, which are just all metal, I think at that point, there was a hole in it. And it was basically the last guy who drove it got decapitated, and he bled out in the car, and how they hosed the water out. They just drilled a hole. So he's getting... Dude, it's fucking intense.
Damn.
So these guys, dude, they would die. People in the crowd would die. They had one. This guy's fucking had an accident, right? They fucking hit each other. The hood came off, went into the crowd like a Chinese star, and decapitated like 6 people. And this guy landed on, like, you know those concrete barriers?
Yeah, an embankment.
Just landed dead in front of the car, all on fire.
Oh, yeah.
There's video of it. I forget where the crash was. Just try it. Just do
There's an idea.
the chocolate one, and then do the green one.
I
and then
will.
you'll be fine.
I'm excited.
I will.
Yeah,
But you
Start-
gotta
then,
not
dude,
order.
I'm telling you. Then you
I'm
just start.
excited
If
for
you
that
start
smoothie roll.
eating well,
Next-
the fat has nowhere to hide. It just doesn't. It
right.
just it's like it's just over.
All right, you come back on this show, and I'm gonna be skinny, and I'm gonna call it the Bill Burr. Ethan's no longer fat.
No, here's the thing. I gave you like literally. I just scraped the surface. Okay, and what you want to do is get a nutritionist. Do not listen to your listeners who's going to be actually they're doing these studies about almond milk and all, and there's going to be a zillion things.
So you're
That's why I got a nutritionist, because if you go on and you try to learn yourself on the internet and you don't know what you're doing, just the first like 3 pages are all dominated by evil food people, where it's just like, no, you're not getting away, and it's just and then it's like trying to give money to a charity.
Right,
How the fuck
right.
do I know that this is a legit one?
That's so true.
How do I know? And it's just so
okay. I think I do need to get a nutritionist.
I agree.
But I tried a diet where I got a personal trainer, and she's like, I want you to eat high-fat ground beef, cheese, avocado. I was like, are you sure this is going to make me lose weight?
yeah. That what and then what?
It's like the no.
Yeah,
well,
you shit out of fucking.
I was like,
what's your block?
I was like, what are you talking
Yeah,
about?
no, it's like
what is
all
that?
of
That's the
Well,
The keto style.
I
was
think that what they do is a lot of those personal trainers, what they have is they have down to like a formula how to have you do like a Biggest Loser weight drop and like how to quickly just cut things down and look amazing, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I don't like, I really.
That's
It's
not
not healthy.
sustainable.
Yeah.
You can't. That's not.
Yeah.
She scared the hell out of me when she was like,
Everything you just said, I'm like, how is this going to move through my body?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
What is the lubricant? Where is the
right.
what is going to get me? Oh, well, you drink a stick of butter. Okay. And I know there's a lot of lies about nutrition, but that just goes too far.
Yeah, I think we all can understand.
Just take
that
a handful of raw bacon and dunk it in butter juice and then suck that down. It's just like, all right. You sure? Everything was a lie that you were told. It's just like, all right. It's just like, this is either 100% right or I'm going to Jonestown. So that might, and I don't know anything about that diet, but I found what I've been doing has been working from you.
Okay,
So
I like
try it out.
Yeah.
It's
Get
the
yourself a
being a
nutritionist.
healthy, reasonable human being diet.
Yeah, you got to find, like, you know what fascinates me is like basically the first 16 or 17 years of my life when I never. I mean, I took a couple sips of my, stole a beer there for my dad, but I never really went out and tried to get drunk until I was like 16 or 17. But I went for like a decade and a half, like I was straight edge. You know what I mean? And but the thing was,
you told kids you were straight edge. You're like, I don't drink.
No,
man, I'm good.
no. Just out of being a kid, it's not like your first 10 years of your life. You're like, fuck, playground, man. I need a drink. I mean, it's just not where your world is at. And the thing was, it's Pandora's box. Then once you catch a buzz, then it's just like, oh man, this is this other kind of living. And it's I didn't understand that. I was kind of using that as like a. I'm not saying I'm never gonna fucking drink again, but I had to like. I kind of just had to like step back and just be like, all right, because the reality is I got a kid, so I just didn't want to be that. I'm like.
Yeah, you don't want to be drunk when your kid's around.
I'm like fucking Lou Grant with a bottle of whiskey remember that on Mary Tyler Moore show? She'd have a rough day and she'd come in. And
I don't remember the whole show.
I can explain it to you.
Yeah.
If I can explain it to you. This fucking guy just I don't know what that is. All right.
No, I believe it.
I don't know. And the second I started to explain it, like, I don't know the whole show. All right, I get it.
I believe
it's that comic ADD. Like, I don't want to I'm not into it. I don't want to hear it. I got it. Your show. Go ahead. Continue.
I remember. All right, let's talk about old shows then.
We don't have to. It was so funny how you bailed twice on that.
Patty Duke. What about that?
You made me feel like an asshole. Like that was the 15th time I fucking brought it up. Sorry, no Mary Tyler Moore. One of the great ensemble fucking cast of all time.
I do know she just died recently.
Yeah. I mean, I was going to bring up a more positive story about the show, but yeah, it's the second time. I bring up fucking George Michael. What was it, an AIDS event? Some sort of gay thing?
Oh, I didn't say gay, bro.
But why did you say AIDS?
Because he had AIDS, man.
No, he didn't.
Did he?
Jesus
Christ.
No, he didn't.
Dude. Well, people have been saying he did.
I think you are confusing it with gay.
No, I'm not. I didn't know he was gay. I knew that apparently he got AIDS in a park. That's what I heard. And
he blew a guy in a porta potty and got busted for lewd activity.
Oh.
And then, he, had a little fucking, he liked getting a little buzz at the end of the fucking day, and maybe it got away from him. I think that's what happened. But like, what I would like to focus on was how amazing his voice was and how talented he was. And I performed and stood in the same spot that this guy did.
Yeah.
That's what the point was, not what he died of.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute.
And I wish it was.
What happened in your life? Who'd you lose early on? You're really into death.
Well, no. I mean, I remember listening.
You don't want to get to know Mary Tyler Moore because you're afraid she's going to leave you too?
I remember listening to George Michael on the school bus when I would go to school. And I felt like, and I would always sit by myself.
Did you feel like you were going to catch AIDS by doing that? Some sort of airborne HIV through the fucking radio? I mean, bro, I was holding it up to my ear,
I could feel my ass.
In a roofless school bus. Whatever the windborne radio AIDS was going to get me.